What is happening, everybody? Welcome back. I appreciate you taking some time out of your day to watch my videos. My name is Jeff. I am an advocate for cross-listing, not cross-dressing. I say that because I have a small little funny story. Somebody messaged me on something local about something I was selling. It was actually like a very, very old magazine. I can't remember which one it was. It was like from the 50s, I think, and it was a very early LGBTQ article. And the person had messaged me and kind of wanted to know more information about it. And I was like, well, I haven't really read much of it. And I told them what I knew about it. And then they just offer up the information that they're a cross-dresser. And I'm like, okay. And then they were like, do you have a problem with that? I'm like, why would I have a problem with what you do in your life? It was just very random exchange, I guess. Again, no judgments. People are free to do whatever they want to do. In fact, judgment is going to be a little bit of a theme in this video. That just kind of came up right there. That's how we roll here. It's just this one long continuous stream of consciousness and thoughts and observations. In a way, it's kind of like the Seinfeld of reselling, I guess. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, anyhow. So we're going to talk about a couple different things in this video. It's going to probably be long. Grab yourself some coffee. I did. We're going to talk about a comment left on the channel by, let's say, somebody who doesn't share the plight that some of us have experienced. Yeah, we're just going to leave it at that. Because I am going to want your input on people like this. And I'll get more into that. We're going to talk about, well, promoted listings. I mean, that's always a topic. But more specifically about how eBay could actually be not sabotaging, but the things that they are doing are having a direct impact on why our listings aren't being seen, being sold. And some of this came out of a conversation that was on the last video's premiere. If you're not unfamiliar with how premieres work, and I was as a YouTube creator for many, many months, basically when a video drops, if you set it as a premiere, it gives the opportunity for you, the viewer, to interact with me and or the other people who are on the premiere as well. And there's often a lot of really good discussions and conversations inside that chat. If you're not subscribed, I would recommend subbing too, because then you'll be notified, I think. Maybe you even have to click that little bell thing. But I drop my videos at all hours of the day. I dropped them as late as like midnight before. So if you're not getting alerted, you're going to miss the premiere. And I kind of think there's something nice about interacting and having others even interact with each other. Yeah, I think that. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is the earnings report that just dropped last night. I'm just going to share a few thoughts. I'm going to look at the chart. The chart was down quite a bit. And I haven't even looked at the other e-commerce companies. I might take a quick look. I'm going to be pausing this video a lot and kind of getting set up for the next segment that I want to do. So in doing so, okay, so 2 videos ago I did it was all about algorithms and how eBay is still, other YouTubers out there acting like everything's completely fine and, they're getting 20, 30 sales a day. And it's still not, eBay is not, I mean, one could say that their earnings report are a reflection of how things are not right. But let's stay on track. Let's stay on topic. Somebody left a comment, and I'm going to read the comment. eBay is not broken. This is my first full year selling part-time. I'm currently at over 210,000 in gross sales. I'll do well over $250,000 this year. I have a full-time job and a young family. So the only time I have to work on eBay is after everyone goes to bed. A large percentage of my sales come from sending offers. The highest promoted rate I do is 5%. My store has less than 50 items in it at all times. 95% of eBay's success is based on the items and the price. eBay is not the problem. In order to be successful at anything, you will require a mindset shift and assume full responsibility for your performance in all aspects of life. Everything is 100% your fault, good and bad. Now, there's a lot there. And a whole bunch of people commented, and I've had comments like this before. And oftentimes they are just, they'll come and they'll leave a comment, and then you never hear back from them. And then the typical banter between other people, other viewers in the comment section is like, share your store, prove, blah, blah, blah. Well, I am here to say he did share his store with me privately. I'm not gonna disclose it. It's not the kind of person I am. I don't wish ill on anybody, and I don't want people, flooding his store with views and this and that. For the sake of the example, I'm not going to say what he sells, because he does specialize in one very specific niche. So for the sake of assigning a product to him, let's just say he sells massagers, because that's kind of like the running joke in the reselling community. So let's say he is on track to do $250,000 selling massagers. So first off, and then there was a comment below that basically saying, you're talking into a void. The denial on these channels is so deep, accountability will never be taken. The app tells you what sells and at what rate. What we think is cool or what we think should sell doesn't matter and never will. Again, that's your experience. I don't know what you sell. I don't know anything about that guy. Typically you do get a couple people in my videos or every few videos, and you get people like that. So yeah, maybe I'll talk about that comment, but I want to stick with the one by Cole Williams, who a lot of people, Gangland said share the store, but I can verify. He has sent me screenshots and told me his store's name, and I did check it out, and he does in fact sell that much. Now there are more. It's not that simple. It's not that black and white. And it's your items argument only goes so far, especially when you're trying to tell that to people who have been selling a lot longer than you. You basically have said that this is your first year. You do it. You make reselling look very easy. I start your own channel. See how hard it is to have a channel. See how hard it is to have engagement. It would be interesting experiment to see. But sending offers, yeah, and he doesn't promote that high, says 5%, and he has a small store. So that kind of fits into the idea that the smaller stores are having more success with high sell-through rate, high conversion rate. But everything is 100% your fault, good and bad. I agree with that, and I disagree with that. And the reason is that April, May of 2023, eBay changed something. And it's looking like the change has come into, it's obviously has to do with promoted listings, but it also has to do with that magical worth number or worthless number that eBay assigns to you and your items, that determines whether or not your items are essentially just buried in search and never seen, no matter if people are searching for them. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to talk about too, is, and I'll get to that, there'll be a segue in there, basically about best match and asking the question, who is it best for? Is it best for you? Is it best for the customer? Or is it best for eBay? Because I have an example of something that I came across which prompted me to set something aside so I can talk about this in the future, in the future video. But hold on one sec. So eBay used to have all these different subcategories and categories. It made it easier for your items to be found more organically. I'm wondering if the real reason that those were taken away was more to commoditize. I don't know, can't think of the word, but basically make more profit off of having less categories and then basically forcing buyers into the whole promoted listing game to make eBay more money. That just kind of came to me right now. But the bottom line was, items used to be able to be discovered organically easier. People were actually able to search. Actually, no, I'm going to go ahead and bring this into topic because this is a really good example of why search isn't working. And then we'll come back to the to Cole. So I have this Smith Corona correctable film ribbon. If you put in Smith Corona and then you put in this number, which is the model number H21500, the very first result that you get is a sponsored listing for $29.43. And then the very next one is a sponsored listing for $13.50, and then a sponsored listing for $10.75. Now they sell for about $9 to $13 is what they sell for. Why is it, when it says best match, I think we all maybe, I guess for me, I think best match for the customer who is looking to buy this. No. You're getting a result that's nearly 3 times as much as what they sell for, like two and a half times at best. And why is that the case? Like, that is not good for the buyer. It's not good for the seller because, I mean, I guess it would be good for the seller if someone comes along and buys that just because that's the first result. But it might be bad for the seller because the customer buys it and then they notice that there's other copies out there. They could cancel the order, and then which would hurt the buyer. That would hurt the seller because his order got canceled. But it never should have been in that first slot to begin with. It's the best for eBay if it sells at that because they're going to make the most money. But this is the and if you're comping and you're looking things up on mobile, it's even worse. We've all talked about how when you're out and you're looking on your phone and then you see something and you comp it and you think, oh, it's worth this much, because there's all these listings out there. Then you get home and then you go to list it and then you see all these other cheap listings on your desktop. That's what from my experience. So why It should be, it shouldn't read best match. It should read best match for eBay. And then in parentheses, possibly worst match for the buyer. Now, I don't know about you, but this is not a good look for eBay. It looks bad for the... So basically, if this person wants to promote a listing that is 2.5 times more than what the going market rate is for this particular item, they should not be slotted in at the first slot, no matter how much they're promoting, because it's not a good experience for the buyer. I mean, eBay does, that's all they ever talk about, is honoring the buyer's experience. But this is bad. So I noticed that, and I wanted to talk about that and see what you guys thought about that. All right, going back to Cole. Now, I'm going to read an email from somebody who I'm not gonna say who it is. He'll know who it is when he's watching this. And I could not have put this better, and this is why I'm sharing it with you. I'm gonna have to read very slowly because I need to substitute what this person actually sells. So yeah, you'll see what I mean. And so I basically had sent some information to this particular person because we email back and forth fairly regular. And he goes, yeah, I never doubted him, meaning he never doubted that this person said what, backed up what his sales were in this. He goes, but I would have banned him from your channel long ago. In fact, this is what I want your guys' opinion on in the comment section below is, and I try not to ban people, but at the same time, let me know at the end of this, take into consideration everything that you've heard and let me know if you think I should ban people like this, or if you think I should just leave them on the channel for an opposing viewpoint, because there is merit in that. He's a troll who enjoys stealing thunder in a drought. Not my words, but either the points in all of your videos are going over his head, or he gets off on pointing out how amazing he is amongst people who are angry or struggling at the way eBay is going. He became the #2 seller in massagers on eBay in the entire planet in less than a year by doing it part-time. Even better than people who own massager stores or who have been selling massagers their whole lives. He is either an expert in massagers or his dad is a massager dealer. He has an angle that he's not explaining. I'm sure other massager people are constantly searching new listings for massagers on eBay too that are doing it full time. So something is fishy. Regardless, even if he's just randomly selling massagers and making a killing, even though I think he nets 20% of his gross, it's just not realistic for him to think that others should be making a shitload too. Now, before I got this email, I had actually responded to Cole, and I had asked him a few questions. Let me see if I can find those. You're not getting your massagers for free. Ballpark figure what you're netting after cost of good, eBay fees, including promotions and shipping and handling. You just can't throw out a gross number without giving context of net sales. And then I said, I'm also guessing that you have some previous knowledge or specialization about massagers. Okay, so I'm going back to the email that I received from a friend, we'll say. If I was him, so if this person, reseller X, says, if I was him, I'd easily realize how lucky that I was to be an expert in such an expensive niche. And I wouldn't expect others to have such an advantage. If I were selling diamonds and gold, making millions on eBay, I wouldn't go to the comment section of everybody's video and say, you guys all suck at eBay. There's nothing wrong with eBay because I just sold $120,000 in October. It's easy. You just need to find an expensive item that people want. Duh. You guys are all clueless. Because that's actually kind of how you come off, Cole. Like, I don't know you, but read the room a little bit. And there is going to be some advice in here for you. And then Reseller X recognizes that he himself is blessed with his reselling. And then he says, no matter how well Massager Guy does, it doesn't change the fact that eBay is dysfunctional on purpose. His expensive in-demand items are rarely hidden. They are indexed immediately. So he is ignorant of the plight of most sellers, and he has no idea what it's like to list something for less than $100. He might be an expert in massagers, but I would still say he's a dumb idiot troll who doesn't understand the intuition of eBay. All of those are not my words, although I do agree with a lot of it. So as a reseller who has been on eBay since 2011, when I go back and I read your comment, I'm talking about Cole, about how everything 100% is your fault, good or bad, the problem that I have with that, and I think a lot of people will agree with this, is that eBay made a change without giving us any kind of warning, and they basically screwed their business partner. And there is a partnership that goes on between eBay and sellers. Whether or not you can argue so many points about how we are so replaceable, blah, 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 and how, just all of that. I don't need to go into all of that. But when people spend their lives, all my items sold very regularly, meaning my sales continued to go up, albeit, it wasn't a direct, if I had 1,000 listings and I made X amount and I got to 2,000 listings, I doubled that. That's not the way it works, but it was an increasing thing. Like the items that I were buying, that I still to this day source, are unique items that I appreciate. Not everything I buy and I source is like something that I think is amazing and I want to sell. Sometimes I do it just because I source a lot of IKEA stuff because I know that it sells. But the items that I sell hasn't changed. eBay has changed. They flipped a switch. So to say that's my fault, that I spent years creating a business using a model that I was seeing results in, and then in my mind, I'm just, I just got to keep listing. eBay gave us listings. They were telling us that that's what they wanted. Everyone always says, if eBay is telling you to do something, or if there's something that they're giving you, they're giving it to you for a reason. How can we not interpret that they want us to list more? Never in it did it say, oh, we want you to list more, but we don't want you to list items under $10. So to say that that's my fault or that's the other viewer's fault is incredibly insensitive and ignorant, hurtful, slightly traumatizing. Everything that eBay has done to its seller base over the last few years. And that's why I have a problem. And so my initial reaction was to just delete the comment and block you. This is after you had reached out. Now, I do want to read Reseller X followed up with another thing that I just got. I got when I woke up, and this is incredibly insightful. And this is a warning for you, Cole. It's not like a warning that it's not like a threat or anything, but this is a reminder that things can change in an instant for you, and why selling and focusing only on massagers could actually harm you in the future. Like I had a good run with eBay. And am I resentful of what they did? Hell yeah, I am. That's why I still talk about it. I still list on eBay, but I am done with only listing on eBay. I'm so thankful that I've made the decision a year ago to start branching out. And I think in the long run, it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better for my mental health. It's gonna be better for my income stream. It's gonna be better if some platform does something stupid, like charging buyer's fees, and I don't have to worry about just one platform. So in a way, I thank eBay for that, but I'm incredibly resentful for the amount of extra work that I've had to do because of what they did to sellers. So here is the little follow-up. Also, as soon as other sellers learn how to program AI to buy every single massager worth flipping for profit that is newly listed on eBay, this guy's entire... Okay, sorry, I had to edit the last video because I did not substitute what he sold for a massager. Hopefully I didn't do it earlier and I just didn't catch myself. I knew it was bound to happen, but let me just pick up because... So it says this guy's entire business model would collapse in a day because I recall that he said that he buys almost every massager that he sells directly off of eBay. His business model is all my eggs in one basket. And then Reseller X says, hell, I could probably destroy his business model just by studying his solds and doing what he's doing. I got all the time and money in the world. So this is a very insightful perspective because on one hand, Cole, you're doing very well. You're doing very well, and you never did respond to my email to kind of, so, I'm going to take that as, that my suspicions are probably, mine and Reseller X's suspicions are, you probably have an edge. There's an angle that you have. You don't just wake up one day and it's like, oh, I really want to sell things online. I'm going to do a little bit of research. And maybe, but you're in the minority. If it was that easy, everybody would be doing that. And then eventually your niche of massagers would be infiltrated. So that's that. Like, I don't really have a whole lot more to say about, yes, you are an amazing reseller, but there's definitely something that you're not saying, and if everything is on the up and up and you just happen to just stumble into this niche and you're killing it, and just enjoy. In fact, why are you even watching me? Like, you basically said you work a full-time job, you do this when your family goes to bed. You can't possibly have that many hours in the day to, eBay is so easy for you. Great. Yay. But not everybody has access to either the knowledge or the sourcing. And the truth of the matter is if everybody started doing exactly what you're doing, then you would be basically probably doing what I'm doing. You will probably go on YouTube. You probably create your own YouTube channel and complain, oh, why are these other people? Like, don't be so high and mighty just because you are killing it right now. Right? Again, read the room. Why are you that interested in watching me? Right? There's plenty of other. Surely you must have a hobby. All right. So people watching, I want to hear your thoughts on this, because a lot of resellers who, in my opinion, are saying it like it is. Then you've got these people in their comment section saying it's their items, blah 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 blah, and it's harmful. It doesn't do any good. And if it makes you feel better coming on and saying that, well, great. I'm glad I'm a therapeutic outlet for you. All right, moving on. I want to talk about some bullet points that came out of a conversation between Benny Stratton and I on the last premiere. We're kind of talking about your conversion rate and how eBay, if somebody's buying something from me locally right now, money is coming through my door slot. Oh, the other thing is, this I think I remember showing this creepy clown guy. This is selling tomorrow. Put in the comment section what you think this sold for, and then I'll confirm that it did sell, and I'll tell you what I got out of it. I did not even bother listing this on eBay. Well, actually, so I had it listed on District, and generally if it's listed on District, it's listed on eBay. So I'm wondering because it's not listed on eBay now, and I'm wondering if it was a listing that just got deleted. So, because I think I would have listed it on eBay, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, and this is an issue, right? Like, how many of you guys have lost just a listing just disappears, which is another unacceptable thing that happens on eBay. But anyhow, so you have your listing. Pretend this is your listing. Somebody clicks on something, they're interested in a hat. Actually, let me ask you guys. So I am horrible at reading graffiti. Does anybody know? Can anybody who is just maybe they're more right brain than I am? So it says saying something. I just cannot figure out what it says. Again, I think this is a cool hat. It's a piece of art. Somebody did that, and I think someone's gonna want to buy this, but we'll see. Well, I mean, I thought somebody wanted to buy the clown, and they do. So this is your listing, and let's say it's for this hat. Last check. Man, I hope somebody out there can figure out what the heck this says. So anyhow, someone wants to buy it, or someone clicks on the hat. But so you've got your hat, but then you've got like zillions of other things on there that eBay's trying to sell as well, right? So if there's other hats here, all of these are hats. All of these are hats, and then they click away because eBay's advertising other people's stuff on your page. That harms you now, more so than I think it ever did. I really think that the worthy or unworthy number, whatever that calculation is, I really am beginning to believe that's a big part of determining whether or not your items get hidden. So we put an item up. eBay does everything they can to try to sell something else other than what's on there. And then you're punished because your, purchase to impression or purchase to item page view it lessens. And it got me thinking. Maybe I shouldn't even say this out loud because it could potentially be another revenue stream for eBay. But I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on this. And I'm surprised eBay hasn't actually thought about this. But what would it be worth to pay eBay to not have any ads on your store? What would that be worth? It might not even be worth anything. It might be something that is not even. It would require too much money for the seller to pay to eBay to have kind of like an ad-free store, right? Like it's kind of like, you pay for Netflix and then you can kind of pay an extra service to not have any ads on your store. I wonder if it would be worth it from a seller standpoint. I wonder if it would be worth it from an eBay standpoint. To be honest with you, I honestly feel that everything that eBay puts on your store, it is the cringiest, most desperate look for a platform. It is like taking spaghetti, throwing it against the wall, seeing what sticks, and it's pathetic, in my opinion. Yes, I get, the whole, but we want to create this web of interconnecting, grandfathering in. I can't think of the word that people call it when, you click on a link and then it's grandfathered in for 30 days. It's absolute trash. The whole system, the whole promoted listings, putting the most expensive in the premium slots when it's not good for the consumer. And I don't understand why the FTC is not looking at it from the consumer's standpoint. That's why they go after Amazon. It doesn't make sense that eBay is putting overpriced items in some of these slots just for the sake of promoted list. And if you think about it, it's like somebody might click on it, on this item that I showed, and now they're in that matrix. So from eBay's standpoint, even though they might not sell this ribbon, now if that person goes back to this seller's store and buys something else, now they're making money on their promoted listings. It's just, it is a leech system. And I get advertising is a thing, but there has to be a better way to do it in a way that benefits both parties, because Wall Street's not having it. If you look at what the stock did, and we're going to get to that. I'm gonna check my notes to see if there were any other topics I wanted to touch before I get into that. All right, moving on to the eBay earnings conference call. I did listen to it. I listened to it while I was doing my shipping and doing some sourcing, and I gotta say it was an hour that I wish I didn't listen. I would have been better spent just listening to some music, something that I actually enjoy. There was nothing in there. In fact, I don't even know why they still do these uninformative, ritualistic, meaning it's like, are they just doing it because it's always been done? Like, we don't get any information out of it. The Q&A section, this was completely useless. The only thing I got out of that entire thing was, and this is actually good news, is that the things that they're doing in the UK are not necessarily the things that they're going to bring to the US. because they are two different markets, meaning they have no plans to do buyer fees in the US. I'm hoping it means that they have no plans to do the managed shipping, which I think is going to be a nightmare. But they're pretty high on that. They think that this is going to be some amazing revenue stream for them. They talked about it a lot. Jamie said magical innovations at least 2, maybe 3 times, maybe more, maybe, I don't know. You know, he used all the abbreviated terms, and you know, he paints a picture that while GMV did go up, that they were forecasting softer quarters in the coming 1 to 2 quarters, which apparently is probably the thing that Wall Street's focusing on for the 8% drop that the stock had today. And I would say that it's fairly, as of right now, it's fairly company specific in the e-commerce sector, because Amazon was flat to up, Etsy was up 7%, but Etsy's been demolished. It doesn't take much for a 7% move when your stock has basically been halved, or actually probably more than halved. Etsy is just, oh my goodness, yeah, that's right. The peak in 2021, it was at $310, and now it's sitting at $50 a share. I mean, yeah, decimated is the word for that. Walmart is just a beast. It just continues to just go up, although I do see a correction on that, a natural correction, not because there's something wrong with it. And Shopify was down 1%. So it's not like this news, like if it was, I mean, I imagine a lot of these e-commerce retailers are probably going to be giving lower expectations to try to protect themselves. They would probably rather under-promise and over-deliver than the opposite. But the stock was down after hours, and it stayed down. Like when I'm looking at the intraday movement, it gapped down. It gapped down all the way down to 56.33, and then it bounced a little bit, and then it just kind of trended down all the way to the end of the day, and then it had a little spike. So when I see this, whenever there's a news announcement, there's a couple things that I like to look for. I like to look for the initial response, and then I like, so the after hours trading, and then I like to see how it responds, because that volume is always a lot lighter in after hours trading. Although it did 1 million shares after hours yesterday, and the average, they trade about 5 million shares a day. Today they did 10.5 million. So a significant amount, double, and these are the things that you look for, is volume. Volume when a stock goes up, and volume when a stock goes down. Does that tell you that there's conviction in that move, right? So the other thing that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I heard that the average sale price of the repurchasing that eBay has been doing is right around, I think he said like around $56.50 a share. So you consider, we were just at $68 a share in the middle of October, and we've gone from 67 all the way down to 57. So we've literally basically have just given up all that would-be profit on the stock buybacks that eBay was doing. And who knows, maybe eBay was selling today. I don't know. I think they have to file and do things in advance. I don't think that they can just, well, I know they can't. So I like to watch the initial move. I like to see the reaction to that initial move. And then I like to see the day after the secondary move. So I'll be interested to see how the stock, if it finds a bottom and starts to just, climb higher. I mean, I'm surprised that the stock fell, even though I personally have been saying that this stock is overbought. There's no reason for it to keep going up. It's it's defying the laws of valuations, in my opinion, especially when we all know that the stock site is challenging at best. But yeah, so I'm surprised and not surprised. Like I almost expected it to just do the opposite, because that's what it's been doing for the last, few quarters. It's kind of, I think we all kind of expected it to tank. I know I did. And then when it actually tanks, it kind of surprises you, because it just but again, it doesn't necessarily mean anything in the long term. Let's see how it could just start to continue to go down. I mean, like when I'm looking at the chart, there was a gap up. Let's see here. I need to extend this beyond. There was a gap in March that, I mean, gaps tend to close. A gap is when a stock opens, well, it gapped down today, basically. It opened lower, much lower than where it closed at. And it did the opposite of that in March. And when that happened, it did it on increasing volume, although it did it on quite a bit of increasing volume. And then that sent this, I'll show you what I'm talking about. So it did this this gap up in March, and these bars are the volume. So if it's green, that means it closed high that day. So this move caused a big move up. So is this gap down? Is this gonna start to just, start to give away some of those gains? It's tough to say right now, but it's not necessarily, well, it seems to be like this is gonna be not a good thing for eBay stock price and their shareholders. I think that's it, guys, for today. I need to get listing myself. Got work to do. Hopefully you guys found this video entertaining. I always try to insert a little bit of humor in my videos when I can. But yeah, sometimes there's just the content that I'm talking about. It's difficult to insert humor when, so many people are experiencing very challenging sales. But I do my best. And yeah, comment, let me know. There were a number of things that I asked you. I appreciate all of your guys' feedback and comments. And peace and blessings to all of you guys. And we will catch you during the premiere. Remember, do all that, feed that YouTube algorithm. And I feel like I'm missing something, but finally getting a haircut this Sunday. I am, and a beard trim. I am desperately in need of a haircut. This is like the longest my hair has been. I know it looks horrible, but oh well, that's what hats are for, right? Anyhow, take care. Later.